You were manipulated today by a teenager, and you didn't even notice. That eye roll that made you feel guilty, that silence that made you give in, that emotional explosion right before they asked for something? None of it was random. These are psychology tricks, hardwired into the adolescent brain. Not taught, not planned, just deployed automatically by a mind that figured out human behavior before it could finish its homework. Here are 10 dark psychology tricks every teenager uses without knowing they're using them. Trick number 1, the door in the face. Can I go to a party 3 hours away and sleep at a stranger's house? Absolutely not. Okay, can I at least stay out until midnight? Fine. Congratulations. You just experienced the door-in-the-face technique. Psychologist Robert Cialdini proved that when someone makes an extreme request first, and then follows it with a smaller one, the second request gets accepted 300% more often. Teenagers don't read Cialdini. They don't need to. Their brain runs the algorithm anyway. Trick number 2, strategic emotional flooding. A teenager doesn't just get upset. They get so upset that your brain panics. Tears, door slamming, hyperventilation, the full performance. And the moment you feel overwhelmed, you surrender. This is called emotional flooding. It overloads your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes rational decisions. When someone else's emotions spike, your logical thinking drops. The teenager doesn't plan this, but their amygdala learned it works, so it keeps firing. Trick number 3, selective vulnerability. You don't understand. Nobody understands me. I feel completely alone. That sentence just activated your mirror neurons, brain cells that force you to feel what someone else is feeling. Neuroscientist Giacomo Rizzolatti discovered that mirror neurons don't just create empathy, they create compulsion. You can't not respond. Teenagers instinctively know which emotional chord to strike, not because they're calculating, because their brain has been A/B testing your emotional triggers since they were 5. Trick number 4, the silent treatment. They don't argue. They don't yell. They just disappear. One-word answers, no eye contact, emotional withdrawal, and you are the one who breaks first. Are you okay? What did I do? UCLA research found that social silence activates the same pain centers as physical injury. The teenager has weaponized your need for connection, and they didn't even open their mouth. But it gets darker. The next 3 tricks don't just influence your decisions, they rewire your entire perception of reality. Trick number 5, social proof weaponization. Everyone else's parents let them. 7 words, 1 psychological nuclear bomb. Solomon Asch's conformity experiments proved that even adults abandon their own judgment when they believe the majority disagrees. When a teenager says, everyone else, your brain doesn't fact-check. It panics. Because deep in your evolutionary wiring, being the outlier parent means your child might be the outlier kid. And outlier, to your ancient brain, means vulnerable. Trick number 6, Gaslighting Lite. I never said that. You said I could go. You're remembering it wrong. They're not lying. At least, their brain doesn't think they are. Adolescent memory is reconstructive, not playback. Every time they recall an event, their brain edits it, adding emotional context, removing inconvenient details. So when a teenager says, "You promised," they genuinely believe it. Their brain rewrote the file. And now, your memory is the one being questioned. The result? You doubt yourself. And doubt is the first step to compliance. Trick number 7, intermittent reinforcement. Sometimes they're loving. Sometimes they're cold. Sometimes they hug you. Sometimes they act like you don't exist. This pattern, random reward, random punishment, is the most addictive psychological pattern ever discovered. B.F. Skinner proved it with pigeons. Give a pigeon a pellet at random intervals, and it will press the lever forever. Predictable rewards bore the brain. Unpredictable ones addict it. Your teenager's emotional inconsistency isn't mood swings. It's the most powerful conditioning schedule in behavioral psychology, and it keeps you pressing the lever. The last 3 tricks are the most sophisticated. Most adults never detect them because they happen in plain sight. Trick number 8. Triangulation. Dad said it was fine. They haven't asked Dad. Or they asked Dad a different question. Or they framed the question so Dad had no context. This is called triangulation, using a third party to create confusion between authority figures. The teenager becomes the messenger, and the messenger controls the message. By the time you and Dad compare notes, the teenager already has what they wanted. Trick number 9. The Reciprocity Trap. They clean their room without being asked. They compliment your cooking. They're suspiciously nice. And 2 days later, can I borrow the car? Cialdini's principle of reciprocity states that when someone gives you something, your brain creates an involuntary debt. You feel obligated to return the favor. The teenager preloaded your guilt account, and now they're making a withdrawal. Trick number 10. Identity labeling. You're the cool parent. You're not like other parents. You actually get it. That sentence just installed an identity, and now your brain will fight to protect it. Psychologists call this the labeling effect. Once someone assigns you an identity, cool parent, understanding, not uptight, your brain works to remain consistent with that label. So when they ask for something unreasonable, saying no doesn't just mean denying a request. It means betraying the identity they gave you. And your brain would rather say yes than feel like a fraud. 10 tricks, 0 textbooks. Your teenager never studied Robert Cialdini, never heard of B.F. Skinner, never took a class in behavioral psychology. But their brain, the most adaptive pattern recognition machine on Earth, figured out every exploit in your operating system. Not because they're manipulative, because they're human. And the human brain doesn't wait for permission to learn power. It learns it the way it learns everything, by watching what works and doing it again. You were never outsmarted by a child. You were outmaneuvered by evolution itself. Same tricks, different awareness. Now you know the playbook. The question is, will you keep falling for it? If you just recognized at least 3 of these tricks, subscribe. Because every week, we decode the dark psychology behind the behaviors nobody else explains.